Good morning, folks. Another edition of 10 Minute Tuesday. This week's subject is jealousy. Now, this is the second recording I've done this episode because the first run through, I think I talked too fast. I'd got part way through a Joe Rogan podcast this morning, and I just was astounded about how long it takes to get to anything interesting. Like, it's a 4-hour episode. I don't have 4 hours to listen to Joe. Shout out to Joe if you're listening. I mean, obviously, if you listen to 4 hours, you'd get some value, I'm sure. But so I think I'm always mindful of the fact of, Jamin, get to the point straight away now, no wheel spinning. So, but maybe I spoke a bit too fast, that last one. So jealousy is a really important subject, and I'd love to give you an idea, some framework around how to overcome jealousy, because it limits you massively. And the biggest problem with jealousy is it's part of the victim patterning. So it leaves you powerless. The victim patterning is anything that causes you to feel like the problem is outside of you and that you have no choice. So jealousy is when you observe someone who has something that you want, or has done something that you can't do, or has an opportunity that you wish you had, and you feel unfair. You feel like if I had what they had, then life would be easier for me. Or if I'd been given the opportunity they'd been given, then things would be different, but I haven't, so I can't. So you get stuck. Jealousy stops you in your place. You're welcome to be jealous because life is unfair. Don't let anyone tell you life's fair. It's not fair, not at all. So there's always opportunity to look around and find people who seem to have it better than you. And you're welcome to be upset about how unfair that is. No one could blame you for that. It just, as with all blame, it just gives you no power to improve your situation. So jealousy will not add any value to your life. In fact, it will take value away. So you're welcome to do it. However, it's not going to be a very useful strategy. So I had an example of this idea working with a client this week. So this woman was trying to reconcile the idea that all things is story, that everything is story. All we've got is story. Because often it doesn't feel like that. And that's the problem. It's like, no, this isn't story. This is true. This is evidence-backed. This is honest. This is real. And so the specific story she was trying to undo was the idea that the world rewards beautiful people. So if you're a beautiful person, doors are open, gifts are given, life is easy. She was trying to grow her own Instagram account and looking at the accounts that do well, and they're all beautiful people. So clearly, if you're a beautiful person, it's easier. Now, it's so easy to find evidence that that's true. And this was the problem. It's like, well, the problem is I'm not beautiful. If I was beautiful, then it would be easy for me, but I'm not. When I was at school, people said I wasn't beautiful. Therefore, this is part of my problem. So I'm jealous of beautiful people. I can't find a way out of that pattern. So the idea that everything we've got is story isn't helping. So the reframe was really interesting because I said, look, why don't you just hang on to that belief then? Don't change it. Maybe just fine tune it a little and just see if you could add some nuance to it to make it even more true. Because I think you've missed a piece. I'm sure we've all known beautiful people who have not worked out how to take advantage of that. So I'm not sure that it's accurate that the world rewards beautiful people. I think there's a missing piece. I can still remember working with the business team, and when I walked in the room, I was struck by one guy in particular in the room. He was just particularly handsome. I don't know whether you've ever had that experience where you get stopped in your tracks. You're like, that is a beautiful human being. Now, look, I'm saying this with 100% track record of heterosexuality, but this man, he looked good. The crispest blue eyes I've ever seen, the shape of his jaw, the tone of his hair, like just, yeah, good specimen. But the interesting thing about this guy is he hadn't worked it out. And he certainly hadn't worked how to take advantage of that because he was at the bottom of the pile. No confidence, no voice, browbeaten by his wife, not a happy character at all. And so his beauty was wasted. I'm sure you know people who waste their beauty. So just because you're beautiful doesn't guarantee anything. The interesting distinction when I talked through about this idea of the world rewarding beautiful people was the distinction is actually the world rewards only those people who believe they're beautiful. If you believe you're beautiful, great. The world's happy to reflect that back to you, give you all kinds of gifts. So it turns out that anyone can be beautiful. Interesting reframe and a way out of that story and a way out of jealousy. And so I don't know what stories you've got around what's unfair and what's not right, the way it should be. But it's all story, right? All we've got is story. So another way of thinking about jealousy and how to get out of it is these three questions. These are the questions that I use for myself, because there have certainly been times over the years where I've been stopped in my tracks by jealousy too. It's like, I'm working so hard. I feel like I deserve success here, but I'm not getting it. And that person's got what I want, and it's just unfair. The moment I feel like that, I just want to give up. I'm sure you can relate. So here are the three questions that I use that I think you'll find useful. Question one is, do I really want what they've got? Do I really want what they've got? I used this with my son the other day because he was talking about some kid at school who had the latest iPhone. My son always wants the latest iPhone. That would just change his life. Oh, and he also wants the latest motorbike, latest push bike, the latest Xbox, he likes the latest things. But his friend had all the latest things all the time, and it was just so unfair. And so I just used that question. So do you really want what he's got? Now, it seems like, yeah, of course I want what he's got, but we just kind of workshop that for a bit. Is it as good as you think it is? So we looked at the idea of being a spoiled brat. So to have every wish granted at all times, could there be any downsides to that? And off his own accord, he kind of realized that it probably wouldn't be all great. Sometimes it's useful to have to work for things. You appreciate them more. Sometimes a no is valuable as well, because it helps you appreciate the stuff you've already got. So there were a bunch of advantages to not having what this guy got. So that was useful. That stopped the jealousy. Second question is, if you do want what they've got, question two is, am I capable and ready to handle what they've got? Because the idea of, careful what you wish for in case you get it. If you get what you want before you're ready for it, it will be a curse, not a blessing. It will destroy you. We've all heard stories of people who've had overnight success, who have won lotto and haven't coped well at all. Looks great. You'd think it'd be all beer and Skittles. Turns out it's not. Turns out if you go from being poor to rich overnight, you're not capable of handling that money. That money will destroy you. If you go from being infamous to famous, that still is famous. If you go from being a nobody to being in the spotlight overnight, there are very few people who handle that well. So when you see someone who's got what you want and you are tempted to be jealous, just look at how they're handling it and ask, well, could I handle that? I think I want that, but what would I need to develop in my own life so I'm capable of getting that and handling it without it destroying me? Really useful. So the gift there is to go, cool, there's an opportunity for me to grow my capacity. Third question is, what must they believe about themselves in order to have what they've got? I love this question. This was a particularly useful question for me when I got jealous, and I got jealous around keynote speakers. So I love the microphone. I love a stage. It is an extraordinary experience to be given a platform to speak. I couldn't think of much better, actually. So I'd always become jealous when I'd see someone or hear someone speaking or have a stage, and I'm thinking, I'm prettier than this guy. Like, I'm more charismatic. My content is so much richer. I deserve that more. He's up there and I'm down here. And it's like, yeah, that's the point, Jamin. He is up there getting paid and you're paying him to do what you want. So what must he believe about himself to do more with less than what you believe? So the gift was to go, wherever there's someone taking a shortcut, or it looks like they've jumped the queue or found the loophole to get through, they've done it based on what they believe. Beliefs are what open doors. Not just because you deserve something. Who cares what you deserve? The world doesn't reward deserve. You've got to take it. You've got to find a way through. You've got to position yourself ready to receive. So what must they believe about themselves in order to get the thing that you want, that clearly you don't believe? Because if you believed it as much as they believed it, well, you've already got more reason to get it than they got, but they've got it and you don't. So applaud them, celebrate them, be astounded at how wonderful they are, and learn from them. So those three questions, I think, will be really useful for jealousy and the value of not being jealous, as it puts you back in the position of power and responsibility. And all change and all improvement comes from responsibility. There is no advantage in blame other than a rest, other than a place to hide. So if you're looking for a place to hide, so you can't get found out if you haven't overcome insecurity. Hang on to jealousy. That'll be really useful because it'll be the reason why you can't. Like I would, yeah, I'm sure I'm desperate to really be out there swinging away, but I can't because I don't have what that person had. If I had what that person had, if I was pretty like that person, if I was smart like that person, if I had good parents like that person, well, then, yeah, I'd be out there doing it, but I don't. So, yeah, it just sucks to be me. So, yeah. So, yeah, if you're looking for a hideout, hang on to jealousy. If you're not looking for a hideout, yeah, jettison it. That's 10 Minute Tuesday. Before I go, the 1 Minute Coach book, ready, pre-release is out. You can get 20% discount before the book actually arrives in my office in a week's time. If you're willing to wait a week extra, you can get 20% discount. Now, this book is the hardest thing I've ever done. It represents 5 years of hard work, and to come up with 365 unique, valuable ideas that are not just adding to the noise. Honestly, it's been a difficult thing, but I'm super proud of it and feel like it's a valuable contribution. If you're just new to the personal development space, it's a great soundbite, just 60 seconds, just half a page, just to open the book anywhere in the morning and start your day with intention, with an idea that's thought-provoking. If you're well-versed in personal development space, the ideas are quality, they're sharp, they're useful for wherever you are at, and offer a course correction, a chance for improvement and refining. So the cover looks great. It's a pretty book. You can thank Catherine for that. So it looks good on a coffee table or beside your bed. Make a great gift. A great gift for a spouse who's never gone down this path. So it's an easy way into the subject of personal change and improvement. So good gift to give staff, colleagues for Christmas. So get up 20% at the website omcbook.com. That's O for 1 Minute Coach, omcbook.com, and you can grab it there today. I'll talk to you again next week.